Welcome in, Kia ora, to another episode of the Podfathers. We got Tom and myself here, just a little the duo again popping on. Tom, how you been the last couple weeks?
Yeah, been busy. Been playing ball for Cardiff. Two big
Cardiff.
wins. Yeah, two big wins yesterday. I
Nice.
still also support Swansea. Well, only support Swansea. So, but still, yeah. Been on a small vacation, only in the UK. But yeah, it's been tough watching Padres games at the moment. Not just in the way of I can't watch them, but it's also been tough because of how boring some of them have been. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to be back on and hopefully, well, very excited now for this next series coming up against LA.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, no, the bit tough when it's 1, 2, 3 a.m. and it's a 1-0 pitching duel. I think that's kind of been the thing. Thank goodness that our pitching has been up to snuff again here lately, bullpen and starting wise. Which we'll dive in a little bit here because we always give Niebla his credit, but man, the work that him and the staff has done, especially with how anemic the offense has been here lately, he definitely deserves to get some more praise. And then yeah, just dive into some of the boys that have been participating into that. But yeah, like you mentioned, big series coming up. Finally playing the Dodgers for the first time this year. I know Don and Tony Gwynn Jr. on the call last week were kind of diving into that. They kept repeating with the new series or the new schedule, how it's just a kind of like it's so weird that we haven't played that. Feels like we have for whatever reason. I don't know why, but we yeah, first time we're playing them. First time we've actually played the Giants a couple times, but I don't think we haven't played the Diamondbacks yet, have we?
Um, I don't know. I feel like we have,
Maybe
but
we
I
did.
also feel
Maybe
like
we
we
did
haven't.
early on. I'll take a look at the schedule. But yeah, either way, the schedule's just been a bit funky where yeah, not play the Dodgers till June is weird. I mean, for our mental health, probably not the worst. To delay that a couple months. But yeah, overall, I think if they could probably schedule that a little bit earlier. And then I think they mentioned too that we're not playing them in September at all. Yeah, no, no one. So only the Rockies and the Diamondbacks are going to be divisional series in September. So that's kind of weird. But I guess what are you kind of enjoying the new schedule? How we're playing them less and playing other teams, or what's your thoughts on that?
It's always fun to play the Dodgers and like division rivals as a whole because we kind of got like that small little bit against the Giants, but.
Hmm.
I don't know. I of course I like playing all the AL teams. You know, it's nice to see some of the other bigger names in the league, other than playing, you know, the great guys. Like you don't want to be playing Judge every year. But no, it's like it's got its pros and it's got its cons. So I'd love to
Yeah.
play the Dodgers 162 times just because of how just fun and electric it is. But yeah, it's a weird one. Um, yeah, it's enjoyable to watch the AL teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for especially for like myself, having the at least the option to go visit a stadium now because it's going to be home and away, right? So every other year there's gonna be a team that's at Petco, or every other year you're gonna be able to go away to their stadium. So if you want to see more stadiums with the Padres playing, I feel like that's definitely going to be beneficial. I personally like it how they're playing different teams. Would maybe went a little bit diluted to where we're not playing teams in our division as much. But yeah, like we haven't even played the. I'm just looking at the schedule. Haven't played the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks yet. They were seeing them after the Dodgers actually for the first time in Phoenix. So yeah, I think that they could probably like maybe front load and then back load divisional games. But it probably is pretty tricky trying to get that home and away every other year. So I'm personally a fan of it. But I know like Don and Mud were saying too, like they love it because they don't have to go to Colorado and Phoenix and LA like 4 times or whatever it was, 3 or 4 times a year. Now it's only a couple. So more enjoyable for them too to go travel to other cities in the country more often. But so yeah, collectively, I think I like it. I'm not with you there. I would not want to play the Dodgers every 162. I feel
Yeah, I
like
mean, of course, for like them as a team and how much they've kind of like owned us. I hate to say it, but how much they've kind of owned us. But like, I also just love the rivalry
yeah, yeah,
perspective. You
yeah,
know, when those schedules come out, one of the first things you look at is, or as
yep,
a Padres fan, one of the first things you look at is when you are playing the Dodgers. And like you said as well, I'd love to see us play them later in the year. Obviously, the triple
Hmm.
play thing, that was awesome. Not just because it was a triple play to end the game, but because of how close the division was at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you, but then I also don't in a way.
Nice, mate. Yeah, no, the definitely agree though on that point where yeah, when the schedule comes out, it's like, okay, when are we playing the Dodgers? That and yeah, how is that going to affect our season, right? So like right now we're sitting 37 and 27, somehow still 10 games above 500, even though it doesn't feels against all odds. Second in the West, one game back of the Dodgers. We're tied with the Giants, but they have a little bit less of a better win percentage, I guess, 'cause they have one more win, one more loss. And we went 4-3 on the last road trip. Two split the series against the Giants, which is a funky one, and then won the series against the Brewers. But collectively, I mean, we're a game back, haven't played the Dodgers yet, and here we are. You know, it's not make or break by the season by any means. Like if we end up, you know, winning the series or losing the series or sweeping them or them sweeping us, it's not going to be the be all end all of the season, but it's a pretty big series coming up. So, what do you think generally, if I can get that word out properly, you think it's going to be a make or break for the season or kind of give us a good indication of, you know, where each team kind of might be?
I mean, there's always the narrative of like every game does matter. It's, you can't go into April and say, "Oh, don't worry, we're 0 and 10. None of it matters." Everything matters, especially against LA now, because it will be, touch wood, it will be us competing for the top spot.
Hmm.
And I'd love to see an NL West, getting first to the NL West. That'd
Yeah.
be nice. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's exactly make or break, but you could see it in that way. Just because it's them. And if you can get like a sizable lead, if we sweep them with 2 games above now, and like we saw at the end of last season, we were pretty close to top in the division. And it's these little games now against the people who are top or the people that you are competing
Yep.
against that decipher whether you are first or second. So I can see why it's make or break. I definitely think we should be taking these games very seriously now.
Hmm.
But again, like you said, if we do get swept or we do lose the series, it's not the end of the world. There's still just under 100
Yeah,
games
100
left, I
games.
think.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I completely want to echo exactly what you said there. Not make or break, and we'll flip the narrative to whatever sees fit, right? If we win the series or we sweep them, then we'll be like, this is exactly what we needed. This is going to be huge. If we lose the series or get swept, we'll be like, there's plenty of time. So whatever the outcome is, we'll find a way to make sure that it fits our narrative as everyone does. But the one thing I think that's super important that you're kind of touching upon too is just that tiebreaker potentially at the end of the year. I know it was in April when Jesse Agler was mentioning about the tiebreaker when we were playing the Cubs early on and, you know, getting that last win in that second series to where we ended up splitting it was, you know, based on where the Cubs are record wise, it looks like they're going to kind of run away with the division here if they continue on the heater that they're on. I think they're like 40 and 24 or something. They've got one of the best, not the best, win loss records in all of baseball right now. But anyways, you know, just having that series split or looking at that tiebreaker because like for example the Brewers going up against them they could potentially be a wild card threat right at the end of the year. So if we can end up winning that season series right then that potentially you know having that series win here in early June you know, obviously you're excited about it because it's helping your record now, but later down it could have even, you know, bigger effects or consequences, you know, for not getting these series wins. So just like you said, every game matters. Sometimes it's easy to not really, you know, be on your game or fully focused when it's that June, July, early August, really in the middle of that baseball season because it's such a long, grueling year. But with that being said, yeah, still good to get those wins against those key opponents. But just to kind of touch upon the road trip too against the Brewers and Giants, that series split against the Giants felt so weird. First 2 games, it felt like we were dead in the water, gonna lose, and then ended up coming back in extras both times. Then game 3, we're up 5-0. You think we're gonna cruise to a series win or even potentially a 4-game sweep. End up having the Giants come back, win that, and then win the next game by 1 run. I think I just saw they just swept was it the Braves maybe? Um,
Yeah, I think it was the Braves. They said last
yeah.
night on the broadcast. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, I think it was the Braves. And I think they have now 7 games in a row where it's been decided. Every game has been decided by 1 run or less, something like that. So I mean, just being a Giants fan, I know it's pretty hellish to be a Padres fan with all these close games, and luckily we have. I think it's the second best win percentage right now, randomly behind the Angels in 1 run games. But I mean, pretty hellish to be a Giants fan as well. So not yeah, it seems like every game is kind of make or break in the sense that there's never a blowout on either side just because their pitching is so good. And then against the Brewers, ended up taking care of business. Kind of a similar feeling series to the Giants where not a lot of offense. The starting pitching has been unbelievable with Bergert stepping in, Vasquez somehow still tiptoeing the, 4 or 5 walks a game, but not giving up really any runs. Stephen Kolek's been fantastic. So that depth where it seems like that would have been a bit of an issue is really starting to come through. So, yeah, I guess I want to get your thoughts here just on how good the pitching's been, and if we should be pretty concerned about this offense, kind of really, except for Manny, who's been just putting the team on his back here.
Yeah, like you said, it's a one-man-y team at the moment. Well, at least the offense. But you got the pitching's been decent. I feel like a lot of the games recently now, especially in this road trip, we could have gone over 7. We really could have.
Yeah,
So we're kind of lucky. I'm now looking at the standings now, and we've got an expected win-loss of 34 and 30.
yeah,
So apparently we're expected to win 3 less games than we have won, which I kind of think is a little bit right. I think there's definitely some games that we should have lost, like yesterday.
yeah.
One
1-0. Yeah.
nothing, absolute pitcher's duel, especially with Berger on the mound.
Hmm.
I thought, okay, he's probably going to shit the bed at some point, but he didn't. He held true, he held firm, and it's nice to see. But we just need these guys like Tatis, Merrill. We need these guys just to get back to their normal selves. Like I said, I jinxed it in a couple of episodes ago, saying Merrill's not going through the sophomore slump, but he kind of is now. So blame me, please. Um, but yeah, it's just need to get that offense rolling
Hmm.
again. I don't know what's wrong with Tatis, especially like he's batting what like 160 in his last 7 games, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's not how he started the season. But yeah, Manny being beautiful. He's we I think at the start of
Unbelievable.
the season we were worried about like his power. He didn't really have much power on him,
Hmm.
but he's completely turned that around now. It feels like he's hitting home runs almost every game. Like he's been unreal. He's kind of putting the team on his back as the captain now, batting 318 through the season. Slugging's been great recently. So yeah, as long as the rest of the team can just do the work now, I think we got a pretty high shot against these Dodgers.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I'm sure, just like you're saying, how all the fans circle when we play the Dodgers, and when the schedule comes out. The players are looking. They won't say that, but they know damn well when they play the Dodgers throughout the year. So hopefully, Fernando's always throughout his career so far has been a total kind of force against the Dodgers. So I was hoping that this might be a reignition into him kind of getting back to business. And the beginning of the season, he was kind of what Manny's doing now, to where he was really the sole offense. Merrill started the year on fire, then got hurt, but it was really the Toddy show and the rest of the offense. I mean, Manny has always been hitting well in terms of average, just the slug wasn't really there, like you mentioned early on in the year. So he was kind of carrying the team there for a while. And then we got, the Sheets, the Derry Bonds kind of resurgence here randomly. And then he's not necessarily cooled off. He's actually been a little unlucky here recently in terms of getting a base hit. He's been getting some nice defensive plays on him on the other side on some of his pieces of contact, but he's been fantastic collectively. But it's really been Manny the last couple weeks plus, where he's just been carrying the team on his back. We had the Iglesias game against the Giants that kind of saved us that first game there. But yeah, if we can get Merrill back on track, we can get Toddy back on track. If Xander can just kind of be like an average, MLB hitter, just from a consistency standpoint, like I just would love to see him rope a double into the right center gap. Like that's all I want to see. I don't want to see a weak pop up or a ground out. Him even just trying for like a home run. Just if he could just right center, just double, just keep hitting it that way. I mean, easier said than done, right? That would be awesome. And then Arise has been pretty cold too, because he's all average. That's where he comes in. He's hitting under 280. So I guess the two things with this is number one, and Merrill's slumping right now, and he's hitting 300. His K rate has been insane the last kind of week plus, where he's just a little bit off. And you could tell he's been frustrated too. And he even mentioned on the broadcast yesterday that he's going through a bit of a slump right now, and it's baseball. And I have all the confidence in the world that he's going to come back and be totally fine. And yeah, if he's slumping and he's still hitting 300, then that's a pretty damn special player there, especially with the defense that he brings day in and day out. But with Fernando, getting him back on track, if we get Manny and Fernando, or Fernando and Merrill, or all three of them hot at once with some production from Crone and Sheets and Xander, that's when, like, I just really feel like we have not even been close to our ceiling yet in terms of performance, at least from the offensive side of things. Pitching wise, like we mentioned early on, the starting pitching has been absolutely phenomenal. You could argue that Dylan Cease has been our worst starting pitcher this entire year, and that probably wouldn't even be that bad of an argument, maybe other than Kyle Hart, right? But he's been, we've been having this success with the starting rotation without him being the Cy Young kind of caliber ace that he can be. So if he can pick it up, right? There's a lot of ifs here, right? But point being is that I feel like the ceiling has just not even been scratched. We started the year absolutely on fire, and thank goodness we did, because that expected record that you mentioned, that 34 and 30. I mean, we've been a 500 club after the first kind of 15 games here, right? So if we're going through it right now, and this is kind of the floor, at least we've squeaked out a few wins here and there. So collectively, yeah, I feel like that there's definitely going to be some positive regression here, but who knows if there's shades of 2023 where it looks like we're gonna kick it into gear and we don't. Good thing, like I mentioned, we had that fast start. So yeah, and we are second behind the Angels in terms of win loss percentage. We're 14 and 8 in one run games. They're 11 and 5. So we've been pretty stellar when it comes to those one run games. So if we can keep managing to do that, that was one thing in 2023 that we were atrocious at, was one run games. It was pretty much the flip. And then also extra innings. We started 0 and 2 and 0 and 3, and then we've won the last couple. So if we can continue to kind of do that, anytime you can squeak out these wins, like you said, Tom, like it's going to be, might not seem like a huge deal, but at the end of the year, if you can get 5 or 6 of those versus the inverse, that's 12 game difference, right? In terms of winning and losing. So, but yeah, collectively, we got some ways to go. That's where I do want to see us kind of go into the trade market here, probably before the trade deadline. It kind of feels like that's not going to happen. I think AJ and Co are kind of really just riding that wave and seeing, where we should potentially get some help. I mean, left field and catcher seems to be like the obvious spots that we need to address, and we've gone into that quite a bit here recently, so we don't need to like pick out any names. But yeah, I mean, collectively, I think we're right there, even though it doesn't feel that nice. And hopefully, this Dodger series is going to get us on the right track. But yeah, I guess just to kind of transition now into that series, looks like we have Dustin. We're facing off against Dustin May tonight on the Monday. Their TBD for their pitcher, or to be announced for their pitcher on Tuesday, and then Justin Robleski, who's 1 and 2 with a 7.20 ERA, so probably go six shutty innings against us on Wednesday there. We got Pavetta, Cease, followed by Vasquez, the 3 games. So Dodgers have 16 pitchers on the injured list right now. If it's a time to play them, it's definitely now. Where are your expectations for this series, Tom? You thinking a series win, loss, sweep?
Obviously, I'd love a sweep. So would you, I'm guessing. But
Good
I
guess.
think they haven't been great recently. You see them losing a lot of games. I think they got walked off by the Cardinals, I want to
Yeah, I
say.
think so. Hmm.
Yeah, so they've not been anything special. They're not on this massive run that we go, okay, we're going to get swept. We're happy if we get one. I'm saying, I think we should go two for one. I'd
Yeah,
say. I think that'd be pretty good. But like you said, their pitching has been like absolutely wrecked in terms of injuries. So. yeah, we have that to our advantage. We have a massive chance. Dustin May, he can be a good pitcher, and then
Yeah, especially against
um,
us, he seems to have some success.
yeah, and then the guy third game, I think he's got a 7 ERA or something like that. So
Yeah,
we
you
got
gotta
a
hurt him.
massive. Go on. Yeah, we're 3-1
3-1.
down still.
There we go,
Yeah.
baby.
Anyway,
Brennan Johnson,
but
LA.
no, it wasn't. It was from a penalty actually. It was from a penalty. So
Oh, was it? All right.
yeah. So yeah, back to my point. Um, I'm yeah, I'm very optimistic now. Just with the pitching as well. Robert Suarez has been really good if it does come down to those one-run games, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it probably will come down to a one-run game with the Dodgers because their offense is still insane. They're
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
dealing with too many injuries there, but it's just the pitch. And as long as, you know, hopefully this is like the make or break for Tatis and Merrill and whoever
hmm
else is doing bad at the moment. So hopefully it'll be like their booster with
hmm
these bad pitchers. So
Yeah. Toddy always seems to rise to the occasion, and then he also kind of lowers to the occasion as well. So I'm expecting him to come out with some fire this series, and I think a lot of us are too. Probably were thinking that he'd catch fire a little bit even before, and we've seen shades of him coming back. And good thing is defensively he's been phenomenal. Like even yesterday, he had that double play where it looked like so nonchalant, man, where he's just taking his time and just ropes it to first, doubles up whoever was on first there at that time. But so at least defensively, we're still getting an elite player on that end, and he's been pretty atrocious offensively. But I mean, even if he's in a 0 for 30 slump, like you're still going to back him, especially in a series against the Dodgers. And like you said, their pitching is, I mean, their pitching is as bad as it can get in terms of where they're at injury wise, right? So if there's any time that to kind of tee off on them, hopefully this gets the offense back on track. You could also argue that, because the Dodgers are going through kind of a similar phase as us to where they're not necessarily losing a ton of series, but they're splitting a lot. They're playing about 500, a little over 500 baseball here recently. So maybe it might be a spark for them. So hopefully that's not the case because we do have to look at it from the other side. But just to kind of name the pitchers here on the IL for the Dodgers, we got Tony Gonsolin, Tyler Glasnow, Edgardo Enriquez, Kyle Hurt. That's ironic. Luis Garcia, Brusdar Gratterall, Michael Grove, Evan Phillips, River Ryan, Roki Sasaki, Emmett Sheehan, Blake Snell, Gavin Stone, Blake Trinan. So we have Gavin Stone, Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki, River Ryan has been used as a starter. Tyler Glass now, Tony Gonsolin. I think Michael Grove has even. That's 8 starting pitchers there that are on the IL. Like you have a 50-year-old Clayton Kershaw that is throwing meatballs. So he's trying to fill the void here, and luckily that he came back for them at this point in time. But I mean, if it wasn't for their offense, they would probably be third or fourth even. So luckily for them, they have guys like Shohei and Freddie and Mookie, and yeah, their offense is absolutely potent. So if we can get again, like with Cease, like if this could be the game, like you want this series to be kind of that booster, like you're saying, for some of these guys that just need to get back on track, and hopefully that is. And I feel like it will be, because that energy is going to be there. Pecco's going to be absolutely rocking. They're not necessarily down and out the Dodgers by any means because they never are, but their pitching is where it's at right now. So yeah, they need to probably get a little bit of a medical staff revamp. Maybe get Mark
Mark
Pryor over
Pryor,
there.
it is Mark Pryor.
Yeah, yeah, he's still a Padre through and through. But before we get wrapped up here, I just wanted to kind of get your take on who might be a little fun little thing here on who would be an All Star right now, if it was the All Star game tomorrow. So out of I know you mentioned Suarez and Manny's been on fire, but if you had to pick your guys that are All Stars, not necessarily starters, but just that would make the All Star team, who's that list that we got?
Um, at the moment, I'd probably go with Manny, Suarez, and I'd probably go Michael King as well because I think he's been all right. Although
He's on the injured list,
he's
so
yeah
that's the
he's
only
injured still. So if it was tomorrow, then probably not. But I think he's got an okay sample size. I think a good enough sample size. So yeah, I'd go with them three at the moment. The maybes on it, like I don't know if you could put Tatis now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Merrill's got a good shot. You know, his stats back him up. Um, he's batting th like 300, like you said. So I think I'd give him a shot, maybe on the bench. But yeah, if I had to pick four, well, three, it would be those three. I couldn't really see any of our starters. The only starter I could maybe see is Pavetta, but
Yeah. Yeah.
apart from that,
Yeah, I think I definitely, yeah, I agree with you there. I'm trying to get a list here if there's, I don't know if there's, I know that voting is out now, so I don't think that there's been like the first official like count. Um, but if I had to guess, it would probably be Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, and I'm forgetting a left fielder here in the NL. But anyways, yeah, no, I'd agree with you definitely on Manny and Suarez. I think those two are absolute locks. I think Manny's deserving of the start right now in terms of being kind of an all-star starter. I wouldn't be surprised to see Fernando get in, even with where he's at now, just because again, a lot of these fans that are not Padre fans that are voting, they know the name, right? You still look at his numbers. If you're those that don't watch any of our games, you see 260, you know, double digit home runs, like good amount of stolen bases, playing, you know, gold glove level right field. I think he's probably on the team just because of his name and, you know, how many people know about him. I think the same kind of goes for Merrill too. Like if you're just looking and you're not you're a bit of a casual in terms of like how the Padres are playing, you probably see Merrill hitting 300. He probably gets on as well. So I would say probably Manny, Suarez, Fernando, and Merrill right now. Again, more so because Merrill and Fernando's name recognition. Um, Pavetta is interesting. I think as of right now, probably not because of the game against the Giants where he actually who's it? I think Jason Adam came in and kind of blew the inherited runners there. He gave him like an extra 3 earned runs or something. So that was kind of a defining moment there. But if it was anyone in the rotation, yeah, I'd say it'd be Pavetta. I think he misses out as of right now. I mean, you got guys like Skeens and you know, there's so many other guys in the NL right now that are absolutely crushing it. And then the one that I really want to go on a run, which I don't think he'll make it right now, is Sheets. I feel like he deserves a lot of recognition. And how cool would that be from being basically just like thrown away by the Chicago White Sox, aka the worst team in almost baseball history last year, and then to come back and be in the All Star game? I think that would be pretty awesome. So yeah, I think, but I don't see that as of right now. So I would say probably again Manny, Suarez, Merrill, and Toddy as of right now, just because of yeah the name recognition. I mean, I typed in MLB.com/All-Star and Fernando's on the front, like he's on the cover photo, you know. So like that, it's just we haven't had that, and you know, as of like 5 years ago, we didn't have that kind of marquee guy. Now we have a couple of them with him and Manny, which is pretty cool. But so yeah, I'm not sure if you agree or disagree with that, but
yeah, I mean, as well, I'd love to see Sheets. He definitely deserves it with how he's been, how he was, especially like towards the start of the season. Now he's got double-digit home runs. But onto your point about Tatis and Merrill with the numbers, that's true. When ages ago when I was first getting into baseball, when I was doing the All-Star voting, obviously I'd put like every Padre, even if they were fucking terrible, I'd put
yeah,
every
yeah,
Padre
yeah,
on the NL. But then I'd just go straight off of like the average
yeah,
and
on the
like.
AL, yep,
Yeah,
hmm
so I go straight off the average, and like you said, Merrill's numbers at the moment, 299 average is
yeah,
still on paper really good.
yeah,
But yeah, I could definitely see that, to be fair, with the
hmm
voting. Let's hope it happens. I'd love to get
yeah.
like five All-Stars in as well with Pavetta as well. I think Pavetta's a pretty bigger shout than I thought. He's got the same whip as King at the moment. He's got a 1.02 whip. He's not like
Wow.
he wouldn't start the game, but you
Yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah, but he could be on the roster for sure. Yeah,
yeah, I
Mhm.
definitely think he has a chance. No, I'm not going to say a good chance, but I think he has a chance at least
yeah.
at the
I
roster.
I would say so. I think again, if like just phrasing the question like as of today, he
Yeah.
might just miss out, but I think going forward, he for sure has a shout. Absolutely.
Mm.
And what's interesting with a lot of the starting pitchers as well is, if they pitch on that Sunday before the All-Star game, they're automatically like disqualified from their teams in terms of, you know, being able to participate in it. So you usually get a few more chucked in there at the last minute. So if that is the case, I think he's definitely on there as a replacement, or probably the top replacement if anything. So yeah, I think that would probably be that. And then yeah, but if it had to be based off of how I've seen everyone playing right now, I'd probably only say Manny and probably how everyone's playing right now. Probably Manny, Pavetta, and Suarez would be like my guys that I think are deserving. But as of everyone voting, I feel like it's going to be Fernando and Maryland there, and no Pavetta. But which we don't vote on pitchers if I'm not mistaken. But um, yeah. So and it's going to be it's going to be Dave Roberts as the guy too. So maybe he doesn't give the
Fuck's
Padres
sake.
some nods there. Actually, come to think of it, he's just gonna chuck in all his Dodger
Yeah,
boys.
put Manny in for like fucking 1 out and then take him straight
Yeah.
out or something
Yep.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Fucking
no.
hate that guy passionately.
I know, right? Still has the audacity to live in San Diego too, a little prick.
Yeah.
I know where you live, Dave. I'm just kidding. I kind of do actually, but I would never post that. I
Stock
think,
up on eggs.
yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Seriously, got to stock up on eggs here. I feel like I had something else on top of the mind, but it's escaping me right now. Oh, who do you think anyone is going to be in the home run derby for the Padres? I would love to see it, and it hasn't happened since the old Will was in it. But
Yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, Fernando had a chance. Was he? He had a chance to be in, but he denied it. He didn't want to do it.
did he? Let me
I
see.
think that was in 2021, and I feel
Oh
like
yes, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
on home run totals, I'm pretty sure he's top. Yeah, he's top at the moment. So I don't know if we could have that same thing again where he, has that chance to be in, but he says no.
Mhm.
So I mean, Gavin Sheets second in home runs with the
Yeah, yeah.
Padres. He's just not a name that you hear
No.
in a home run derby. You got your Guerrero Juniors, your Alonsos,
Hmm.
Tatis, everyone like that. You just don't expect to hear Gavin Sheets um, in the home run derby. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. I've never really watched a home run derby and rooted for anyone. So of
Yeah,
course
right. So yeah, it's been all
I'd love to see that. I mean, Manny could have a shot.
yeah.
He's
I
got
feel like
double
he wouldn't
digits at
do
the
it.
moment. Yeah. Um,
I would
obviously
love to see
depends.
Manny. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends how he does now. If he keeps up with his home run total, he could get picked.
Yeah.
Obviously at the start of the season, like we said, he wasn't that good slugging wise, but he's been really good recently, and that could really help him and like boost his chances for that.
Yeah. No, I feel like Manny probably gets an invite every year, is what I would imagine.
Yeah,
Um,
he's definitely a name. Like I'm pretty sure he did it with the Orioles.
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh yeah, I
he's
think he did
he's
actually, yeah.
he's someone
So
that would be on
might
the
have been
list, I'd say.
might have been one and done. Yeah, I'm pulling up the list here in terms of home run leaders. So we got Shohei with 23, Kyle Schwarber, Corbin Carroll, Eugenio Suarez, Pete Alonso, Pete Crow Armstrong. Interesting. God, that guy's been on an absolute tear. That's incredible that he has 17 home runs. He's built like you, Tom, and he just has like insane power. Seiya Suzuki, James Wood might be a good shout. Lindor, Olson, then Fernando. So Fernando's tied top 10 with 13. Yelich, Chapman, O'Neill Cruz, Ellie De La Cruz. Like one of the cruises there would be super fun to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in it. Andy Pajes, Kyle Tucker, Flores. Yeah, Gavin Sheets is down there tied for 19th. I don't know. If Gavin got the option, I think that he would probably take it. And I would love to see Fernando there. I think Giannis said it actually might not be. He would kind of like to see it too because Fernando's been beating the ball into the ground here lately. So some guys like they don't like to do it because it messes up their mechanics and if they're like in a good groove or whatnot. But it might not be the worst thing for him to actually just like hit home runs like in a competition.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, get a bit of confidence going. But like,
Yeah,
I feel like the home run derby is also a bit of like a not a popularity contest for who gets
it
in,
is.
but like
Hmm.
well, yeah, they like to see these bigger names in
Yeah,
there
yeah,
just to attract viewers and attract tickets, all that. So yeah, I mean
definitely.
Tatis would have a shot at it for that reason, I'd say.
Hmm. Hmm.
But apart from that, I just can't see Sheets. I hate to say it, I'd love to see
Yeah, yeah,
Sheets, but
yeah,
I cannot see it. Unless he was like unless he goes on a tear where he hits like
yeah.
two home runs, one home run, two home run, like
Hmm.
I can't see it at the moment.
Yeah, he's probably got to be in that like top five-ish range for like home runs just to get considered kind of. But yeah, because they chuck all the they throw out the invites and there's a bunch that turn them down. So I guess it would just depend on how many people turn it down because he might end up getting one, but there'd have to be. I think there's a lot of people to your credit too, like that are going to be invited beforehand for sure. Yeah, I'd love to see Nando in there. I think he'd be my top, and then yeah, Sheets, like you're saying, would be fantastic. But there'd have to be a lot of guys that say nah, because Pete Alonso is going to be in it. He's in it every single freaking year.
Yeah,
So
I think I'd see James Wood in it. I don't know why.
yeah,
His name kind of pops out to me as like a
yeah,
younger guy to do it.
I think so. I think James Wood for one. I think yeah, like I mentioned, like O'Neal Cruz or Ellie De La Cruz might be like they probably will want to do it as well. And yeah, they're super exciting. Just any of those exit velo guys, that just rope the ball. Kyle Schwarber, he's been in it a few times. He's fun to watch. So yeah, so I don't. Yeah, now that I'm looking at the list, I don't see it, but I would love to see Fernando in it. I think that would be fantastic. He'd put on a show for sure. So. But all right, mate. Yeah, then that's probably pretty good for this episode. I know. Yeah, if you got a shout or two that you want to throw in there, by all
Yeah,
means.
I'll give a shout out to a fellow Kiwi.
Whoa.
Um, so we got two Padres fans in the team. They both actually joined this year.
Oh,
Tom,
nice.
funnily enough, everyone's called Tom nowadays, but yeah, Tom
Tom, Dick,
and
Harry.
yeah. So Tom actually knew me when he joined the club from this podcast, so he listens. So
Oh, that's awesome.
that's
All
where
right. Thanks,
the
Tom.
shout outs come from. And
Good
then
man.
yeah, so and then also Adam as well. I've told him to get into it, so he said
Sweet
he'd
ass.
listen.
Sweet
So
ass. Yeah,
there's
yeah.
two more Welsh Padres fans
Yeah.
coming in. We're growing over here.
Good man. Good man. Keep plugging that. Yeah, no, we'll yeah, that'd be cool to talk to Tom too. I'm sure you told him to, but well, obviously don't sound like one, but fellow Kiwi. So got my passport and everything.
Yeah,
So got the dual citizenship. Hence why we start the pod with the Kia ora. And yeah, maybe we'll talk some ABs as well. Talk some All
yeah.
Blacks. Yeah. I'll get
I need
Razor
to
on a joint
start.
call.
I need to. Yeah, that'd be a shout. I need to start starting it with like Shemai or something or Borodar or
Yeah,
whatever. Start speaking Welsh at the
you
start of
do.
it. So,
Yeah, yeah, you should. Yeah, do that as
yeah,
your intro every time I'm asking how you're doing.
we'll get Nick to say bonjour,
Bonjour.
and then Trev's just hello.
Hello. Hey.
Yeah, perfect. All sorted for the intros now.
Sweet as. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're gonna get more formalized there. But all right, mate. Well, yeah, I appreciate you popping on. A little bit of a better hour for you too. So hopefully we can continue that. Go Wales with the hopefully it's still 3-1 against Belgium.
Wait. Oh, okay, yeah, still 3-1.
There's 3-1. All right. Yeah, hopefully get that World Cup qualifier. We got sports going all over the place right now, so happy to
Yeah,
talk always
yeah,
talk
good
off air
sports
about
day.
that. But sweet mate. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of the Podfathers. Big series here against the Dodgers. Hopefully we get a series dub. Sweep would be nice.
Fuck Dodgers.
Welcome. Peace.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Podfathers, a Slam Diego Padres podcast. The Podfathers is produced by Los and Walls and is executively produced by Jacob Lamb.
Our theme song is A Bubba by Trylock. To get in touch with the show, follow us on Twitter at Podfathers619. That is at PADFATHERS619. Or email us at podfathers@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major audio platforms.
Go Pods!